Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Elden Ring. My name is Cowdog, and this is episode 2 of the complete Sorcery playthrough. We are into Weeping Peninsula, so let's get it rolling. Last time I just finished up at the end of Limgrave with Fringe Folk Hero Grave at level 15, so I'm going to go over the stats real quick. Had a Meteorite Staff, Perfumer's Traveling Garb, along with some other things here. Started as the Astrologer, went through a lot of stuff over the course of 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. Picked up the Green Turtle Talisman to increase stamina regeneration. And I am using the Magic Glint Blade and Carrion Slicer spells, one for range, one for melee. So, Weeping Peninsula, we have a bunch of stuff to get. Lots of upgrades for our flasks. A couple of items that will be useful along the way. So, I'm going to head down the road here, clear the bridge, take out a camp of soldiers and misbegotten, and then end up right here to fight a knight's cavalry and talk to a merchant as well as get a sight of grace. So let's go ahead and head out. Now, 71,000 runes left over as a, I don't know what to call it, a buffer. So if you had wanted to level up past where I'm at, you definitely should. One of the reasons I am so low level is to allow you to do any part of what I am showing you with a little bit more ease by simply taking more levels. That being said, let's go ahead and get into this clear of Weeping Peninsula. So the bridge up here has a giant crossbow protecting the approach, a bunch of soldiers. The best way to do this I've found is simply to take out the two front soldiers and then sprint past the approach of the crossbow, get behind it, and take out the soldier manning it. So we'll go ahead and do that here. I'm going to head in at an angle, causing that crossbow to miss. Switch to Carrion Slicer, and then dismount right up here to the guy manning the crossbow. The other two should jump up, and you can just Carrion Slicer them as they arrive. Very, very easy. One last guy, and then I'll start collecting the loot. Alright, we have 3 smithing stones. See if this guy dropped anything. Nice. Crossbow bolts. There is a stone sword key right here. And now we are into Weeping Peninsula proper. Now, it is called Weeping Peninsula because if you sure you've noticed, it is immediately starting to rain. It does rain all of the time, day and night, constantly in Weeping Peninsula. So, hence the name. Our first NPC is going to be Irina. She is the very, very beginning of the Frenzied Flame ending. He wants us to take a letter to her father in Castle Morn, down at the very, very south end of Weeping Peninsula.
Thank them, please. Deliver. Please, he can be stubborn.
Okay. So, Godric soldiers, dogs, trolls, everything down here in this camp we have already fought before. There is a new type of enemy called a misbegotten. These are gremlin-looking, vicious little guys with axes. They also come in other types. We have larger versions with bigger axes. There is a Leonine misbegotten that is the boss of Castle Morn. He is even bigger and has a larger weapon, unsurprisingly. We will get to all of those as they arrive. Oops, take out the dogs first. The misbegotten that we fight very early on, mainly what they do is rush at you and try to hit you with their axe. Very, very easy enemy to kite. You just want to have them come straight at you so they'll run right face first into your Magic Glint Blades. You can take them out with Carrion Slicer. It's not that difficult. It's just a little bit more risky. This troll should see us get a refund on our flasks. 3 back up to 5. here we have the Misbegotten. Now, most of the time they are preoccupied with doing something awful, like chopping bodies up. So, should be able to take them out pretty easy with Magic Flint Blade, just like everything else. While that's going on, I'm going to grab the Morning Star. Smithing Stone, and up here we have a Arteria Leaf. Oh, didn't leave enough magic for the Scarab. Go. So, once again, right up here there is a Knight's Cavalry, and of course, they only come out during the nighttime. So I'm going to stop here at this Site of Grace. There is a difference between this Knight's Cavalry and the one we fought before. This guy has a flail, a three-headed flail, instead of a polearm. But otherwise, the fight goes more or less exactly the same. The dodge timings are, honestly, other than one attack, exactly the same. You do want to stay on the side of the horse that does not have the weapon. Alright. The merchant sells smithing stones, another cracked pot, the stone sword key, and then this armor here is just kind of a starting set of medium armor. 100% for fashion, but I will not be buying it. You can if you want to. Activate the Wondrous Physic, and as I said, try to stay on the side that does not have the weapon. It's usually the safer. Same as before. Play a little defensively. Don't get greedy. Usually you want to get in only 1 or 2 hits right after an attack. As always, if you do enough damage, you will kill the horse first before the rider. If that happens, it's usually a good idea to simply back off and refill your potions rather than trying to finish him off. But I'll leave it up to you to decide which of those you want to do. You can get very aggressive against this guy when he's off his horse. And with all of these big swipes, it is sometimes best to assume that they're going to hit you rather than taking a risk that you will not be hit. With that 1, 2, 3 swing, you want to wait for 2 swings and then dodge forward into it on the 3rd. And before too long, as you can see, he's down for the count. Drops his flail and the barricade shield Ash of War, neither of which we will be using. I'm going to rest here at the Site of Grace and head down further south, marking off all of the spots we just did. The map fragment is right here. As soon as we get down towards this map marker, there is going to be a giant guardian golem with a great bow that will continuously shoot at you and keep you in combat as long as you're down here. He's going to be one of the first priorities you should take out when you get down here. If you don't, you're going to have to try to clear anything else that's down here, including a boss, while this thing is shooting at you. So it looks a little bit like this. You can see him off in the distance. If that hits you, you will be dismounted. Sometimes you can be clipped by just the shockwave, in which case you'll just take some damage. But if you take a direct hit, you are going to be knocked off your horse and take a lot of damage. So, using the cover of all of these broken buildings, we're going to rush down. Same as always, we want to chop up against the ankles, which are the weak point. And this is one of those kinds of enemies where once it has been defeated, it does not respawn if you rest at a site of grace. So, all right. A couple things down here. We have a death bird right here, a golden seed, another incantation that comes from a scarab, and then some runes to grab right here. So I'll go ahead and start with the death bird. Same as the last one we fought. The tactic is to simply stay on your horse at maximum range, load up those magic glint blades, and just stay out of range while they do their work. Now, there is a complicating factor, just like last time. There are bats that decide to patrol around straight through where you fight the boss. So, usually a good idea to take out the bats first. They are not here, so I'm going to actually pull the boss down here to this open area to make it a little bit easier to light his head up. Keep in mind, while you are on the horse, you do not have any iframes. Your only defense is actually physically getting out of the reach of the attack. You can do this same tactic while on the ground if you want to dodge roll. It's just a little bit harder because the boss will then be actually faster than you are, so... Now the item that boss drops is the Sacrificial Axe. This is a melee weapon that we will not be using because we want to hit things with it. We simply want the passive effect that it provides. So the power of the right yet lingers. A small amount of FP is restored upon slaying a foe. So what this does is anytime anything dies anywhere even remotely close to you, you will get a small refund of FP. So very, very nice. Unfortunately, it does put us in a medium equipment load, so I'm going to equip some heavier armor here, as long as we have it. You end up looking like a foot soldier, but with a staff instead of a spear. Now, in order to get the effect, you do need to have, obviously, the axe equipped. It does need to be active in one of your hands. So, for instance, if I take it and I have it equipped, you can see it's in my hand. I can do this, two-handed grip on the staff. You can see the axe is still on my belt right there. But if I take it off my bars entirely, even though I have it equipped, I will not get that benefit. And this is true also of any item that gets a passive bonus. Simply equipping it in one of these other slots is not enough to get the bonus. It has to actually be in the active hand. So keep that in mind if you decide to use any other items that you find later in the game that give a passive benefit. If you're coming from Night Rain, this is completely different than how it works in Night Rain. In Night Rain, simply having your weapons in your inventory allows you to get the benefit of them. This is not the case in Elden Ring. Alright. Poison Swamp time. If you are not mounted here, you will slowly accumulate poison buildup. There's obviously a lot of zombies. In addition, there is a giant crab that will sometimes pop up. See if I can remember where he is. Down here at the base somewhere. There he is. So yeah, definitely try to avoid that. You don't want to fight giant crabs if you don't have to. Okay, as soon as I can get out of combat, far enough away from the poison, open the map. I may have to actually run all the way to a site of grace because the game is being silly. How I'm still stuck in combat, I don't know. There we go. Okay, so Deathbird, Golden Seed, Poison Mist, and the runes. So all of this southern area is clear. We're going to head on up to clear off the right side. Got an item here, a puzzle tower here, a fourth starlight shard, and then a site of grace, and we'll head over and clear this tower next. All right. There are no more bosses in Weeping Peninsula that you must be at night to encounter, so I'm going to go ahead and set it back to daytime. Use that golden seed I've got. That should bring us up to 8 total. So I'm going to roll with 3 and 5. 5 flask is more than enough for any dungeon, any piece of content in Weeping Peninsula. We're starting to stack up our healing potions now to add a little bit more safety if we end up getting hit. Right here we have the Great Turtle Shield. So I will leave it up to you to decide which one of these 2 items you want to equip in your offhand. I prefer the Sacrificial Axe. It gives that refund on focus points, but the Turtle Shield, while equipped, is a symbol of tirelessness, and the shield boosts stamina recovery. So it actually does something very similar to the Green Turtle Talisman. The Green Turtle Talisman has a more powerful stamina regen effect, but the Turtle Shield does also help. And you can stack both of them together if you want. Personally, like I said, I prefer the Sacrificial Axe, but if you want to use the Turtle Shield, it's not a bad choice at all. Okay. So, puzzle towers, normally they have this barrier that locks you out. You have to satisfy the conditions of whatever the riddle is up front. In this case, seek 3 wise beasts. Wise beasts, for this count, as these spirit turtles. Unfortunately, you do have to whack them. The poor spirit turtles are being abused. 1, 2, and then the third one actually is invisible. Right over here in the water. And the way you can tell where it is, there should be a little splash like that. And then you can just hit him right there. I don't know how anybody figured this out originally. I had to look up the solution online when I first played this game years ago. Every single one of these puzzles are like this. They have some kind of hidden cheap trick mechanic to them. I guess they were designed with the hive mind of the internet to figure them out. I don't know. But the solution gets us a memory stone, which is a, let's see, what is that? A 3rd or a 4th slot for spells. Now again, I prefer to keep my spells limited to 2. If you do want to start equipping like Rock Sling and some other spells to try them out, go right ahead. Whatever works for you. Keeping 2 spells is just my strategy. Okay, Starlight Shards, we've been over those. I will simply say don't use them if you don't have to. You do need 3 of them for the quest to get the Magic Scorpion Charm. Site of Grace. Now up ahead we have a bunch of holes in the ground that are glowing purple. This is a minor meteorite strike location. These cultists show up and they start to worship things. Now, what happens when you go down here is one of those Alabaster Lords and what are the other ones called? I can't remember. He'll pop up. And the last time we killed one of these guys, we actually got a Ash of War or Gravitas to put on your weapon if you wanted to. This guy, unfortunately, does not drop anything. So I'm not sure what the point of this particular encounter is. It's just kind of a weird set of cultists. But that little glowing black and purple ball there does that, and then the dude shows up. Fights exactly the same as the last guy. But as I mentioned, does not drop anything, so fight him if you want to. Well, I guess the purple glow disappears, but what that actually does, I don't know. Anyway. Continuing on, we have one of these Rosas statues. These things will point you in the direction of a dungeon or a cave. In this case, it points down into the ground. The actual entrance that it's pointing to is right over here, and we'll do that after we clear out this tower. The tower up ahead is guarded by a couple of dogs and a soldier and all of these weird little poison plants that will start spewing poison clouds if you get too close. Like so. There are some runes here. 3 stacks of golden rune ones. That's 600 runes. One dog, one soldier, and there is actually another soldier up right there who will throw fire pots at you if you get a little bit too close. There's one last guy all the way up top manning a crossbow. He's currently shooting at semi-humans down below. Oh, missed the jump. Okay. The reward is for defeating this is the hand ballista. This is a strength-based, what do you call it? Great crossbow, as opposed to a regular great bow. Honestly, I've never actually seen anybody use that successfully. If you do a playthrough with it, that would be amazing. I would love to see it. But back to our run here. We've got that cleared. It's cleared. So, one thing we are going to want to do right before we do the Impaler Catacombs here is return to Liurnia very briefly, and I should have activated the Site of Grace here, but this merchant right here has a recipe that we really want for this dungeon, specifically for the boss of the Impaler Catacombs, and that is the recipe to be able to create crystal knives, or crystal darts, I think they're called. The reason why is when you hit something that's a mechanical construct, like a golem or an imp, with enough of these knives, they get confused, and instead of just attacking you, they will actually treat everything as an enemy. The final boss of the Impaler Catacombs is 1 Erd Tree Burial Garden, a cat golem, and 4 imps that all attack you at the same time. This is a very stressful, difficult fight, unless you use these crystal darts, in which case you can tag the boss with 3 or 4 of them, and then the boss will turn against his imp minions. They'll all fight. You might have to take care of like 1 or 2, and it very quickly turns it into a 1 versus 1 fight. So, if you do this without crystal darts, it honestly is not a fight worth doing until you're a much higher level. Alright, so, sell off some more junk. So this recipe here, Crystal Dart, Spellproof Dried Liver, and the Shatter Shard Arrow, so we'll go ahead and buy that. If you recall, we did also, when we were teleported here to Celia Crystal Tunnel to get the Meteorite Staff, I recommended that you pick up a bunch of the crystals, and this is why, so that we can create these. So, 9 of them should be more than enough, 10, plenty. Alright, back to the dungeon. So like most catacombs, the Impaler Catacombs is full of imps. We just talked about crystal knives and how those work. Other than that, there are some new traps that are interesting, to say the least. I'm not sure there's any point to trying to use the traps against the imps, but you'll see when we get there. It's it involves floors and ceilings and spikes. And the dragonfly is just going to waste my time by running around in a circle. Okay, here we are at the entrance. As with all dungeons, caves, and catacombs, there is a site of grace right at the beginning, and I do recommend that you rest and use your full complement of flasks against the place. Carrion Slicer will be useful all throughout, because imps are very, very fast and oftentimes pop up right next to you. So you can see that when the targets die, there's that little blue glow and sound effect. That's the effect of the sacrificial axe giving you a slight refund on your FP. When you kill things with Carrion Slicer, for example, you're not spending very much FP at all, and when you get a refund back on top of that, you can use Carrion Slicer all day long. This would be the way to play if you wanted to do an entire run using just Slicer. Being able to get your spell points back almost indefinitely is super, super valuable. Alright, there should be... There we go. Well, fight this guy. Come on. There we go. Once again, we are hoping every time we kill one of these imps that they drop their helmet. That is +1 intelligent point while you wear it. It does look kind of silly because you've got the imp head on your face instead of your normal helmet, and it is completely oversized. So, but it is worth that extra point of damage. So pretty nice. Okay, here's the trap I was talking about. You can see there's skeletons all over the floor and spikes on the ceiling with skeletons on them. Apparently a lot of people tried to come down here and loot this place, so walking onto the floor causes it to go up. And if you get stuck in here, what you do is run over to this alcove right here. If you don't, the floor will go up to the top and then smash you into the ceiling. It won't kill you, but it will just do a bunch of damage. The way you get past it is to wait until it goes up, and then of course jump down into the water and clear out all of this stuff. Now, I thought it would have been cool if the floor would have also lowered down to try to smash you, but the developers didn't think of that, so who knows. Alright. Up ahead, we have lots and lots of zombies. As far as I can tell, these zombies will continuously respawn. You literally cannot kill all of them, so I don't even waste my time. Easier just to run past. They aren't even worth very many runes when you kill them. So, for instance, yeah, 36 runes per kill. I guess if you really wanted to farm here, you could, but there are much, much better places to farm than this. Okay, there is the door to unlock the boss room, and right around the corner you have an imp. The developers did this on purpose, so that message somewhere a heavy door has opened, while it is on the screen, you can't attack or sprint or do anything. Make sure you hit a button to clear the message off before continuing, because if you don't, this guy will pop around the corner and start hitting you, and you'll wonder why your buttons don't work anymore. And it's because of that stupid message. Alright, jump through the window, and there's the boss room. Activate the Wondrous Physic. And as soon as you get into the room, there is going to be 2 imps on each side, left and right, and the boss in the middle. You want to target the boss in the middle and immediately start throwing those crystal knives. Until he gets the little lightning bolt thing on his head. So now he is fighting his allies, and he kills them in one hit. All you have to do is worry about these 2. Now he will finish off those imps pretty fast, so you also want to be quick, because then it's you versus the boss. And we use our normal tactic, running around in a circle. shooting glint blades. Hopefully you can imagine how this fight would go if you're trying to do this at the same time as 4 imps are chasing you around, throwing stuff at you, swinging their bleed weapons. It's not a good situation. Oh, gonna have to roll that one. Get greedy. And this attack, remember, when he starts walking like this, simply run away in a circle until it swings. 99% of the time it should miss, and you can go back to your normal pattern. And one more should do it. In fact, I'm going to slice it. And there we go. So, Demi-Human Ashes, 2,400 runes. Kinda not worth it, really, when you get down to it, but for the sake of completion, there it is. Okay, so that's the entire eastern side of the map. We're going to go here to this side of Grace and come around this way up to this village. Yeah, into this broken temple. And then down here to this cave and scarab right here. And we're up to 91,000 runes. Probably going to break 100,000 before the end of Weeping Peninsula. As always, any piece of content here that you either don't want to do or find too annoying or too difficult, either skip it and then use some of those runes to level up, or just level up to the maximum level that you can. Use all of your runes to get more power. Okay, lots and lots of rats up ahead. They are hidden all over the places, in the bushes, behind trees. It is Rat City up here. If we are lucky, some of them will even drop some rune arcs for us. Unfortunately, a lot of time the bushes and the trees get in the way of the glint blades hitting. Oh, there we go. Golden Rune 1. More golden runes. And more rats. Oh, that's not a rat, that's a deer. That's a rat. So if you can notice, these rats have these glowing yellow eyes. If they hit you, you will begin to get a status buildup called Frenzy. Frenzy is the Frenzied Flame, and if the bar fills all the way up, you will take a bunch of damage, be stunned temporarily, and actually lose a chunk of your blue bar as well. Not permanently, but it will drain your FP. So, Frenzy is not a fun debuff. There are only a handful of instances where you really have to deal with it throughout the game, but when you do, it's usually very, very annoying. Alright, a couple more dudes, and then the temple up here is once again full of rats. Camera will actually lock targets that I want it to. That would be nice. Alright, big rats obviously take more spells. 2 big charges. I might as well drain the rest of the bar and fill it back up. Go. We have the incantation, the Flame of Frenzy, a short-range fire spell. another sacred tier, which is always good. That increases the amount that our flasks refill, both health and FP. We're going to head over here to this cliff. Now be careful you don't fall off. What you're looking for is this platform right here. There's two of them. So the one on the right you don't want. You actually want this one right here. You can simply walk off down to the next one like this. And then this one I suggest you actually dismount to avoid falling off. Because what we want is to be able to snipe these bats here and these bats here. There are 2 or 3 more directly below, and they will just hang out behind the platform, making it impossible to shoot them. So we'll have to drop down and deal with them from the ground. But the rest we can prevent from causing us a problem by simply shooting them early. Now, what we really want is that scarab right there. I think you might be able to shoot it from here with Flint Blade, but if you only catch it with one, it won't be killed. So it's a little risky. Basically, you want to actually just kill the bats, and then... yeah, so we can't reach from here. We can kill the bats with Carrion Slicer. Or, actually, I'm going to try with Flint Blade. Let's try this. Roll down. Drop this one to... hopefully they'll just run into the spells as they charge up, but it looks like... there we go. Alright, that should be it. Nope, he's freaking out. The ragdoll physics a little bit extreme with this many dead bats in the way. Okay. So, this scarab drops a Ash of War, a spell, an incantation, which is the Lightning Strike, I believe. Yep. This calls lightning down from above, similar to what you're seeing with these plants being hit. Bulgur Bloom, that is an ingredient to make lightning grease and lightning pots once you get that recipe. And here we have another tunnel. So similar to the last mining cave that we went to, this one is full of miners, but it also has Misbegotten. The final boss is a scaly Misbegotten. It's one of the slightly larger ones with a great axe. Same tactics as before. We're simply going to run around and avoid melee combat and shoot these guys with Magic Flint Blade. Now you can safely fall off of these platforms. You'll take a little bit of fall damage, but the main risk is if you fall off, you're going to be surrounded by enemies down here. So try not to if you can help it. Game will not let me target the one I want. There we go. That one, of course, shoots arrows, so as you can see, he tagged me with one right in the center of mass. Good shot, dude. And there's still one running around. So we'll come back for him in a little bit. Oh, it wasn't center of mass, it was in the hand. Okay, so now he's slowed down. Should be able to get a shot off there. Nice. And one more. So he's going to jump across. When he does, Slicer. Now, if you're not using Sorcery, or even if you are, you can use the terrain to your advantage here. So I'm going to go ahead and equip the short bow again. And I've got my fire arrows. So once again, we have exploding barrels, the red ones with the white stripe. You can see that there's a guy resting next to one right here, and there's another one right here. So nice little trick if you wanted to save some magic points. Alright, one here, one sleeping, and there's a third one right there. Okay, everything else is miners. Remember that any of these guys that have glowing rocks in their backpack can be exploded with fire damage. I don't think that there's any of them here. I think we have just the ones with the blue rocks, but I could be wrong. Another pickaxe. If you want a build that is stupidly strong and overpowered almost, using 2 pickaxes set to the blood affinity. This is the only melee build that I've encountered which rivals the power and ease of clearing the game that Sorcery has. It's hard to describe how strong it is. Like, even straight out of the box, as soon as you get 2, you can farm them in Limgrave. It just wrecks everything. It's dumb. But that's a different video. So. Okay, some loot here. Soft cotton. This is a consumable item that will stop you from taking fall damage. It will not prevent you from dying if you reach terminal velocity. So those are 2 different things in the Elden Ring game set. Many, many times there are places where if you actually can theoretically reach the floor safely, once you've fallen a certain distance, it doesn't matter how many hit points you have, you just die. So soft cotton will prevent regular fall damage. It doesn't stop you from instant death. Just keep that in mind. Same thing with the long tail talisman, the cat talisman. Prevents fall damage, not instant death. Okay. I'm going to take these crystal knives off from the previous fight. This guy will be sleeping next to the fire. As soon as you get in the room, you want to cast like 2 or 3, but then, again, don't get greedy. Go back to your normal tactic of sprinting away and shooting magic glint blades. Occasionally, the boss will do a funny little kind of dodge roll that has deceptively long reach. That right there. At the end of it, if he is close enough, he will swing his axe at you. So don't think that it's simply a defensive move. Actually being super passive. There's that roll and that attack. So just watch out for that. That one you probably should dodge right after he finishes the roll. Okay, not too bad. Now, the pickaxe build I mentioned earlier, you can actually pair it with a rusted anchor. For some reason in the game rules, even though the pickaxe is technically a great club, it follows the rules to allow it to dual wield or power stance with great axes. Apparently because it is a pickaxe. If that makes any sense, I guess, then roll with it. But the rusted anchor is actually a slightly better version of the pickaxe in almost every way. If you have New Game Plus and you have 2 rusted anchors, the blood rusted anchor build with 2 of them is... it's like I just said how strong dual pickaxes are. Dual rusted anchors is even worse than that. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we finished out the cave. We're going to head up here to these ruins and grab a very small shield. And right here there will be a demi-human queen. We're just going to blow her up with magic glint blades. A faith tier for the Wondrous Physic, and then of course another temple for an upgrade on our flasks. Lots of poison plants minding their own business. There is a rune right here, though. Once you grab these 2 pieces of loot, you can see these 3 brown bushes. This one here, and this one, and that one. They turn into demi-humans. Unlike Bach, these are not friendly demi-humans, so they will try to kill you. You can waste spell points on them if you want. I usually just run past. And we want this spot right here. Oh, double jump. And then down the stairs. Shield of the Guilty. So this is a small shield that has bleed damage on it, so if you want to do a shield-only run, you can actually punch people with the shield to do bleed damage. It's kind of dumb, but it's really the only use I can think of it. Okay, Demi-Human Queen. Same as all demi-human fights, if you manage to defeat the biggest demi-human in the area, all the other little ones will give up and surrender. So sneak up on it like this and start powering up your glint blades. The demi-human queen, as you may have saw there, does fire spells at you. If you get close enough, it will also try to smash you with its staff. So once it's defeated, you can see all these guys, then they give up. If you're doing an incantation build, the Faith Not tier, that's plus 10 faith while the Wondrous Physic is active. It's pretty nice. Probably something you want to use almost your entire incantation playthrough. Eventually there is an Intelligence Knot tier that we'll get, but it's not until all the way up in Liurnia. There we go, another sacred tier, increasing the amount that our flasks restore. Another small shield, excellent for using on parry builds. Watch out for these skeletons here. Okay, our next... Oh, looks like I got put in combat by the skeleton. Hang on. Where is he? He's not even attacking me. As I was saying, our next spot is a catacomb right here, also full of skeletons, and then an Erd Tree avatar right here at the base of this minor Erd Tree. So the final boss of the, what is it called? The Tombsword Catacombs is a... God, I want to call it a Crypt Fiend. I know that's not the correct name for it, but what it is it's a skinny, shadowy creature with a weird spider thing on its head. It's very creepy. It makes weird noises. It also has an attack which, if it hits you, will lock you in place while it sneaks up and sucks your brain. It's pretty gross. Fortunately, very, very vulnerable to non-physical damage, so fire especially, but magic damage as well. Ooh. Oh, double Guardian Sword Spear on one run? What? Hang on, I'm gonna look at these. This is one of the best dexterity weapons in the game. I'm a little surprised that we got 2 of them. They look like this. Very, very fancy. Very, very excellent moveset. Technically, they're halberds. And they have this unique R1 attack chain. Super, super good. Also for faith builds, it actually scales surprisingly well with flame art and sacred damage. So, just an idea for build if you wanted to run one of these. Keep in mind, the drop chance on that is super low. I'm actually shocked that we got 2 in one go without even trying. Wasn't even looking for them. RNG is RNG. Alright, let's use those sacred tears. We've got 2 of them. So at this point, whether we're drinking a healing flask or an FP flask, we should be filling up 100%. Okay, skeletons. Oh, okay, so skeletons are not dying in 2 swings, so what I'm going to do... We're almost getting them in 2 swings. I'm going to go back to the side of grace and drop a point in intelligence, just to get that little bit of extra damage. It's going to save us a lot of time and efficiency in this place. And I am pretty under-leveled for Weeping Peninsula. Alright, actually, 1, 2 points of intelligence, and then 1, 2, 1, bringing us to level 20. Perfect. I'm not fighting those guys again. There are plenty of skeletons in this place. Okay, perfect. 2 swings for a kill. Same as always, if you come in here and you do have a melee weapon for backup, probably a good idea to set that backup weapon to holy damage with the Sacred Blade Ash of War, and just come through and one-shot all of these guys. It'll be a lot faster than what I'm doing. Okay, a couple of archers. Wait till they fire, because they will shoot you right in the head. For some reason, the NPC archers get to aim at the head instead of the center of mass. Come on, take a swing. There we go. Up ahead, we also have some of the fire traps, and of course, I already showed you how the Margit Shackle works. We'll turn those flame traps off. If you don't have Margit Shackle, you can simply use a bow to shoot the trap directly. That works too. Or if you really, really want, you can just run past the fire. Okay, so there's a bunch of skeletons in here, and it's a little bit of a puzzle, but the correct order, in my opinion, is to jump up here and take out this guy first. If you don't, he will simply sit up here and throw fire pots at you all day long until you deal with him. Followed by this one right here. And in the room up ahead, there's actually 4 more skeletons. I'm actually going to run past, grab the loot, and go back to the fire trap and let the fire trap do the work for me. One, two, three, 4, and second fire should knock them all out permanently. 1, 2... Nope, missed the last 2, but I'm not going to hang around. Two more skeletons, and we are done with the dungeon. Just have the boss left to fight. Okay, top off the FP. Now, with this boss up ahead, he's kind of annoying because of the reasons I listed earlier. In addition, he teleports around a lot. It can be very irritating because your glint blades are going to miss pretty often. On top of that, if he starts to power up this little green gooey ball above its head, you ideally want to hide behind one of the pillars because the exact timing to dodge roll it is really, really tight. It's very difficult to actually dodge roll this correctly. Mostly you're going to want to spam panic rolls if it teleports on top of you. You may get hit. He does bleed damage as well. All in all, it's an irritating fight. There's not really a good strategy other than to simply wait until he stops teleporting and then fire spells. Try to stay near a pillar if you can. Don't let your own glint blades block your line of sight, because if he starts doing that garbage with the green spit, you want to have a pillar ready to hide behind. After a while, he does take a break from teleporting. As you can see, he's slow walking now. That's usually your opportunity to get some hits in. There's the green crap. Try not to get stuck in a corner if you can. Perfect. And as always, you can use the spirit in here as well. Lutel the Headless, you can see that spirit summon is got a slight yellow highlight to it. Lutel is one of the legendary knights. Very, very strong for spirit summons. Probably one of the best, actually. Okay, all done here. So next up we have the tree avatar. We'll grab a shield right here, clear some ruins, and then fight the great hero of Zamor in the Everjail. Now, the tree sentinels have... how do I describe it? They have a very large hammer, which lunges forward to hit you. But otherwise, you should be able to use the standard tactic of the runaway around in a circle, shooting glint blades. At 50%, it gets a new attack where it will slam its staff into the ground and summon a bunch of laser beams. All you really want to do is keep circling with your horse. Don't stop to cast. You want full speed. You don't need to dodge, but you do need to be moving at sprint speed to avoid it entirely. Other than that, the biggest risk here is you can see there are lots of trees, lots of pots to get stuck on with the terrain. What you can do is you can actually use the boss to run over all of these trees and pots and break them or knock them down. The other thing, of course, as you can see, I'm clearing out his two minions here. You don't want to worry about these guys deciding to attack you while you're fighting the boss. Okay. Top off the magic points, and you should be able to get just close enough to fire up magic glint blades. After the fight starts, I'm going to drag him over here to the right and into this open area so that it's easier to see what's happening. Hopefully knock down some of these plants. And there you go. I've said this a bunch of times on almost every boss, but if you think you might be in range to get hit when it starts, you probably are. That follow-up attack especially. Okay, here's laser beams. Go ahead and stop casting and sprint. And then go back to running around. Almost got hit there. Well, just keep your head and very, very easy boss to defeat. The loot we get is actually kind of nice. Our second tier for the Wondrous Physic is the Crimson Burst Crystal tier. This provides a slow health regeneration effect as long as the Wondrous Physic is active, so that's roughly 3 minutes. Very, very good for boss fights if you are getting clipped by chip damage, or if you make a mistake. You don't have to stop casting and drink a healing potion. You can just let that health regeneration work as you stay out of range, and then slowly your health will get back to full. So, very, very efficient. It's an excellent, excellent choice. Throughout the middle of the game, we'll probably swap it out for some damage-based tiers, but then by the end of the game, when we get up to 80 intelligence again, naturally, we'll have a spare slot in the Wondrous Physic that was being taken up by the intelligence tier that will switch back to the health regen. Okay. We've got the ruins up ahead, which has the winged scythe. Very, very nice dexterity faith weapon. It is guarded by rats and a couple of dudes called pages. They are the apprentices and guardians of the perfumers, which are the state-funded alchemists of the Lands Between. They shoot exploding crossbow bolts and try to stab you with rapiers. Rapiers are a small, thin stabbing sword, popular in the Renaissance. Okay, I'm going to sneak down in here because sometimes these guys are waiting for you with their crossbows already set up to fire. See if a full charge and a quick cast takes him out. Perfect. I'm going to give him one more just in case. Nope. Awesome. There we go. Winged scythe. Alright, so done. 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 So up on the top of this little piece of ruins, there's a scarab that drops another incantation, and then we'll go to the Everjail. On the way, Rina's Lilies. Oh, don't get stuck on the terrain while you're trying to fight this guy. Now you can go back down the way I just came, but it may be faster to simply go right up to the edge here and jump and double jump. If you land a little bit over here on the left, sometimes you'll take a little bit of falling damage, so just be careful. Okay. Great Hero of Zemor, or Zemor Hero of something something, I don't remember what he's called. Very, very similar to Darrowwill, the Bloodhound Knight that we fought. Same basic threat, same basic tactics. He likes to leap towards you. Many of his leaps oftentimes will go straight to you, regardless of how far away you are. So just be careful. Anytime you think you might see an attack that's coming your way, just perfectly acceptable to panic roll directly away from the boss. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly just shooting magic glint blades. This guy will automatically dodge many of them. Sometimes he will also just get stuck and slowly walk forward while you shoot him in the face. So, phase 2, he throws some ice on the ground, but otherwise is almost identical. He will also kneel down. This is your chance to refill your flasks or heal or get in some more hits. Yeah, we're just blowing him up. And here he comes in aggressive mode. So sometimes bosses will, I'm not sure why, but sometimes they will get stuck in a super passive mode. And then the next time you enter the fight, they'll be super, super aggressive. This time around, it looks like we got the passive version, so that was not a good example of what can happen in that fight. Many, many times he spends the entire fight just up in your face, constantly putting pressure on you. If that happens, you're just going to have to spend a lot more time dodging away, sprinting away to create more distance. It becomes a much more endurance fight rather than a shooting gallery. So, your mileage may vary. And one more sacred tier. If you do not come down here to Weeping Peninsula, you are missing out on lots and lots of upgrades for your flask. These are vital later in the game. You want to be filling your entire health bar or your entire blue bar. Super, super important. People who skip this, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we have a cave filled with poison. Fortunately, we just beat that tree avatar, and it gave us that sacred, the Wondrous Physic tier, which adds a regeneration effect. In this case, the regeneration effect exactly matches the amount of damage you take from the poison. So, as soon as we are almost poisoned, I'm going to activate it, and we can just run through the dungeon like it's a normal place. Lots of mushroom head spellcasters. I believe they should get taken out by one glintblade. Let's find out. Yeah, perfect. So as you can see, as I stand in the poison status bar starts to fill up. And of course, once it is completely filled, the poison will start to take effect. Standing on rocks out of the poison, you can see the bar start to decrease. So you can actually, if you're super careful, clear this entire place without ever being poisoned. It is a little tricky, but it can be done. Also, of course, if you get hit by the spells they cast, you will also take some damage and get more poison buildup. I'm going to go ahead and activate that Wondrous Physic so you can see how this works. Okay, so now I'm poisoned, and you can see my health bar is slowly ticking up and down by 1 or 2 pixels. As long as I don't get hit, I won't need to use any heal potions or anything in here. As I said, you can then treat this place just like it's a normal dungeon that is not poisoned. Okay, so up there we have a piece of loot and a couple of plants. You cannot get to that loot from here, so similar to mini caves, I'm going to go ahead and drop one of these marker stones. Got pink this time. And take the long way around. Now you do only have 3 minutes of the health regeneration. It almost perfectly matches the pace of the poison status bar as it drains out. So you've got a pretty good timer right in the middle of the screen to let you know when your health regeneration is almost run out. Should be a big rat right here. Might have to hit him again. Yeah, one more. Should be one more small rat. There he is. And one more large rat. Okay. On to the boss. Grabbing all of the loot along the way. There's a couple more of those poison plants up ahead. Right there. Or just one of them. We killed the other 2 before. So this is the piece of loot. You can see there's the marker stone down below. Now the nice part about already being poisoned is the boss is just one of those very large poison plants. Of course, since we're already poisoned, we don't care about that. The thing we do have to worry about is the nuke from orbit. The laser beams. But it looks like he's going for the poison, so we can just sit here and harry and slice her until the cows come home. Perfect. Okay, the talisman that it dropped is one that increases your maximum stamina. So I'll leave it up to you to decide which of these two is better. Sometimes having more stamina is better because you can fire then more spells in a row. Other times recovering stamina is better because it will help you stay in a fight a little bit longer. So either are good. Eventually you can actually use both if you really want to. Alright, boom, boom, boom. Got the temple already too. So, Walking Mausoleum, we'll clear out the Witchbane Ruins. There's a merchant right here, some runes, and then we'll head up to this Tower of Return and get a preview of the capital city. So, Walking Mausoleums are used in conjunction with the remembrances that you get after you've defeated a major story boss. What happens is when you have a remembrance, you trade it in at the Round Table Hold for a choice of 2 items. Usually it's a piece of equipment and a spell, or maybe like a bow or something, but you only get to pick one. If you want to actually get both of the items you could potentially have, then you take the let's see, you don't take the remembrance itself. You actually just come to a Walking Mausoleum, and you can then activate the remembrance a second time. It literally gives you a second remembrance. Now, unfortunately, this does not allow you to get 2 of the same item, but it can allow you to just take that second option. Or, alternatively, you can just take that second remembrance and then destroy it for runes. That works too. Unfortunately, at this point, we have not yet defeated any Shard Bearers or major story bosses, so the Walking Mausoleum that we unlocked just now doesn't actually do anything yet. You would normally come in here, interact with this altar, and there would be a list of remembrances that you could choose from. So after I've defeated Godric in the Stormveil Castle, I'll come back here and show you how that works. But for the time being, we'll move right along. Up ahead in Witchbane Ruins, we have a bunch of these guys, these walking puppet soldiers, these mannequins. They're not too dangerous themselves. If you hit them but don't kill them, they go into kind of like a berserk mode. See if I can cause one of these to trigger. Yeah, let's use the spear guy right here. So they freak out a little bit, and then they start just swinging like crazy. If you are at point-blank range when this happens, you're going to get knocked off your horse. You're going to take a bunch of damage. And if there's any others around, they're going to hit you too, and you're probably going to die. So definitely stay away from them or kill them in one hit. In addition, we have this weird mashed together ball of faces. The lore behind these is a little strange, but these are basically glintstone sorcerers that have been experimented on in order to try to gain access to more power from sorcery. Why they sit here and rise into the air and shoot fireballs into the sky like a firework, I don't know. But you don't want to be anywhere near when these things start falling. You can kill this thing, but even a fully charged magic glint blade will only do 63 damage. So you want to sit here all day and kill it, go ahead. It doesn't drop anything. It's not worth very many runes. Honestly, just run past it. Okay. There is Ambush Shard and what appears to be Selin the Sorceress. This is actually her real body. The one we talked to earlier in Limgrave is a projection. More on that as we get into Liurnia and into her quest that goes all the way up to Mount Gelmir, into Caelid. It's all over the place. For now, you can't do anything. Do not attack that person in the basement. You will need her later for the quest, and you do not want to miss out on her quest as a sorcerer.
What has been and how can I?
I believe I said this before, but don't do what I'm doing here. By all means, sell any items you don't want. And again, if an item is sold to a merchant, it is permanently destroyed. So don't sell any weapons that you want to keep. What I'm referring to is don't stack up 100,000 runes. If you do, immediately use them to level up. Don't stockpile hundreds of thousands of runes and take the risk of getting killed and losing them. I am simply doing a running total just to show where you could potentially be if you do everything that I show you how to do. And that, of course, is so that if you don't want to do something, you can simply level up and make it easier. At this point, 100,000 runes. Yeah, so you could be level 39 at this point if you did literally everything that I've done. So that's a lot of levels. You can imagine that's almost 20 points of intelligence. If you dropped every single point into intelligence at this level, you would be hitting so very hard. Everything here in these early levels would just be trivial. So keep that in mind. That is a way to make the game easier. Okay, more runes. Now, if you come here at night, this place will be swarming with bats and wolves. If you want extra runes from killing them, go right ahead. Oh, missed it. There we go. Now this tower up ahead, it's hard to see, but there is a crossbow at the very top of it. So there's two approaches. You can stick to the right and jump up the cliffs and rocks to get to point blank range, or you can go the long way around. The long way around does have a bunch of soldiers guarding it. I'm going to go ahead and take those guys out. They also have an alarm. Oop, I'm getting stuck on the terrain here. Oh, he did not die. He's got 1 hit point left. Okay, and there's a bunch more. Where did they go? They're normally right down here. They must have gone around the back side. That's okay. Where did they go? Huh. Oh, here they come. They must have followed me around to the other side, trying to follow the alarm. Oh, almost missed one. Okay, so be careful not to go straight in towards the tower. The crossbow will shoot you. You want to swing around to the left here. You take these guys out. Anything to the left of these wooden crucified dudes here will put you in reach of the crossbow. We'll stay to the left. And with the Mounted Knights, target the knight first. He will stop and cast Golden Vow, and you can fire up some more spells. Unfortunately, it looks like he avoided most of the attacks, so I'm going to get off the horse and use Slicer on him. He will try to stab you with his spear, of course. There we go. Couple more foot soldiers. And we can climb up the tower. So, once again, at the top of the tower, there is a trap chest, which will teleport you to some crazy location. In this case, it's going to send us all the way north to the Leyendell capital to give us a preview of where we are trying to get to. Once you get there, there is a very high-level Guardian Golem. Which normally is a melee build, you would simply use fully charged power attacks to knock down and then stab it in the chest. And you can stun lock it this way from 100% health to dead. For spellcasting, we don't have that option, so I'm actually just going to run past. So, as you can see, we're very, very close to the Erd Tree here. You can see just how massive it is. There is also a dead, very, very large dragon over there. So, pretty wild scenery. And then up above on the mountains over there, you can just barely see the crucible of the fire giants. Alright. Same as always with trap chests. You have been trapped, you cannot travel to sites of grace, blah, blah, blah. There is a site of grace right here. And there's the golem up ahead. You can try to fight it if you want to. The thing has a ridiculous amount of hit points. I don't recommend it. If you decide to run past to get the loot just to the right, keep in mind, actually I'm going to turn on my flask just in case. This guy's going to get up and start swinging at you. And if you remember, these guys have massive reach on their attacks. You might get killed. This thing is going to do a lot of damage if it hits you. So, open the chest, grab the loot, and there he goes. Jump. Oh. Dodge. And then just run back to the side of grace. And rest. Perfect. Okay. That is all of Weeping Peninsula. All we have left is Castle Morn. Mark all of these as complete. Did I miss anything? Nope. Okay. Castle Morn. Let's do it. Castle Morn is full of Misbegotten. And I do mean completely full of Misbegotten. All different types. We got dogs. We have some Godric soldiers. What else? A Pumpkinhead. And of course the final boss is a Leonine Misbegotten. If you haven't seen one of those yet, that is a boss level Misbegotten. He has a greatsword that he will swing at you, and very, very aggressive enemy. One of the few bosses where I will say that Rocksling may actually be the better option. And the reason I say that is because it does carry higher risk because of how long Rocksling takes to cast. But if you hit with enough Rocksling rocks, you can actually stagger and stance break the Leonine Misbegotten boss. I'll leave it up to you to decide which one to use. Personally, I'm going with the Magic Limp Blade and Slicer method, since that is the spell that I've chosen to do this run with. But for you, if you want to try Rocksling, see how it works. Especially if you're higher level, it definitely will be the better option. Oh, I missed one there. I'm wasting spell points. They die in one hit. Huh. Alright, a couple more of these guys. Perfect. Now, the pumpkin head here is sleeping. You can actually just run up behind him and give him the slicer. If you really, really want to get clever, you can actually wake up the pumpkin head and lead him over to the stacked misbegotten that we killed up here on the pile. The two of them will actually fight each other. It seems easier just to take them out one at a time, though. But if you wanted to do like, some people do like a pacifist run where they don't actually ever use any direct attacks. That would be one method you could use, I guess. The Claymore, classic Dark Souls weapon. Absolutely amazing weapon still in Elden Ring. I'm going to be relying a lot on carrying Slicer through here. See, I've only got 3 blue potions left, and there are a lot of enemies between me and the next site of grace. So, maybe a little bit risky, but fortunately most of these guys are fighting each other, so you have to be a little careful getting in to interfere so you don't get hit by an attack meant for somebody else. As you can see, what I did is I get their attention, wait until they attack, and I run away. As soon as their attack animation is locked in, then you can swing back in and get them in the follow-up. Oh, one more still alive. And at this point, I think I've got plenty of points. I can actually go back to using Glint Blade. Alright, this guy, I'll get him with a slicer. Oh, he got greedy. Took a hit. Up ahead, there are 2. There's one there and one there. Those are the ones with wings and bows. Let's see, how I'm going to do this. I guess I'll just try to get him with the magical Glint Blades. Hopefully I don't get full of arrows. Perfect. One more. Oh, I didn't lock him. Ooh. That guy could have very easily blasted me. Be careful. You notice that I tagged their attention and ran back here to fight. If you try to fight on this walkway, these wooden railings are not solid, and if you dodge off of the walkway, that's enough distance to die from fall damage. So don't go dodging left or right to avoid arrows and die by falling. You'll feel really dumb. And I'll have to clear everything all over again. Very, very annoying. Alright, one guy up behind the pillar, the boxes here. And only a few more left in this upper level. Some of them may have actually killed each other by this point. Looks Looks like they're all in the corner over there. Okay, so that's everybody. We're going to head up here and talk to Edgar. This is Irina's father that we should have delivered the letter to a long time ago.
I'm Edgar. You can see menial. They gave me good. I'm sorry, but whatever. Take this. By way of a...
Sacrificial twig.
I say thank you, but I can't, even if they can. To ensure that if you father...
So he tells us that he can't leave yet because the Leonine Misbegotten still has the sacred treasure sword that he's supposed to be protecting. I've always thought it is a little bit of an oversight that the developers didn't take the time to actually have the Misbegotten using the sword instead of just using the generic model. Okay, so quick note here. This side of Grace, obviously very good. We get to refill our potions. Once you jump over this wall or drop down from above, there is no way to get back up over from here. You actually just have to go back to the front of the castle and then clear out this entire courtyard again. It's a little bit annoying, so make sure when you come here that you are ready to continue. So, 2 ways down, you can jump over here, find the gap, and then drop down that hole in the grating. If you do that, you'll miss this stone sword key right here, though. So, drop down here instead. Grab that. Got a bunch of dudes who are powering. Looks like I need to hit them with 2 carrion slicers. I'm just going to shoot them instead. Yeah, much faster. When you grab this piece of loot, watch out for this slime that's up above. The slimes are vulnerable to fire damage. Also, carrion slicer. And be careful, as soon as you get close, this guy's going to turn around and start coming at you. Very, very similar to the boss we fought earlier in the mines. Not quite as many hit points, but you don't want to be dodging left and right on this walkway. Same as before. If you fall down here, you guaranteed will die from falling distance. Okay, up the ladder. We have a talisman that is the Twin Blade Talisman, I believe. This is an item that gives bonus damage to the final hit in an attack chain. I have never once seen anybody use this talisman. There's just so many better talismans to add damage to your attacks. I honestly don't know. Maybe on a Colossal Greatsword build where your attack chain is literally only 3 hits, I guess. But when do you ever have time to do full 3 attacks in a row? Later game bosses just don't let you do that, so I'm not sure what the point of that talisman is. Okay, be very careful on these rafters. If you miss the first one, I believe you will die from fall damage. So make sure that you are careful to aim correctly. The next one below, you can just put your head and aim towards the middle of this X here. Land perfectly. And then you can just throw fire pots at these rats. And Misbegotten. Oh, he didn't die. And nope, fire pot instead. There are 2 more rats right there off screen. 3 rats, sorry. If you, for some reason, want to farm rune arcs from rats, this is the spot. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rats here, and there is a Site of Grace right here. So 5 attempts, you're going to be here a long time. The rune arc drop rate is less than 1%, so even if you stack up all of the item find bonuses, you're still going to be here forever. I don't recommend it, but if you really, really want to farm, then that's the spot. Okay, we are almost to the boss. A couple more enemies. We have a sleeping guy with wings and a bow right here. And, of course, one of the guys with an axe. Completely overwhelmed. No reason to give them any opportunity to take a swing at us. And some fire arrows over here in this corner. Be careful when you're heading over here. It's hard to see sometimes when the water has waves coming in. If you fall off this cliff, this is the bottomless pit edge of the map, and you definitely die. So don't fall in there. There is also a giant crab. Either take him out with Slicer or retreat back here into this spot where the fire arrows are, and then just shoot magic flame blades from here. So, alright. Leonine Misbegotten. Final boss of Weeping Peninsula. Alright, so the Leonine Misbegotten. A couple things here before we get rolling. I'm going to remove some of this equipment to get myself back down to the light equipment load. The sacrificial axe is not going to do us any good here because, of course, the only thing that's going to die is the boss. So having that light dodge roll will be very, very helpful. And, I think what I'm also going to do is, even though I said I would not use Rock Sling, this is one of the bosses where it is actually really, really useful, mostly because of the dagger that's involved. So do definitely keep Carrion Slicer on your bar, though, because there will be times when the boss gets right up in your face, and you're going to want to get those quick hits in with Carrion Slicer. So, as far as the strategy and how this boss fights, I'd put it somewhere between Darrowwill and the Crucible Knight. There are a lot of hyper armor attacks, a lot of leaps right up in your face, and some very, very aggressive motions in a general sense. So there's not really a cheese strategy for this guy. You are simply going to need to learn the timings of its attacks. Fortunately, he is a little bit of a glass cannon. We should be able to take him out without too many spell casts. And of course, especially if you're higher level, you'll also be doing a lot more damage than I am. There are, as I mentioned, lots of leap attacks. So it doesn't really matter how far away you are from the boss. A lot of times, the boss is going to jump straight to you. You will have to dodge. You won't necessarily just be able to sprint out of the way like we've done on some other bosses. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Get that extra stamina will come in very, very useful. Now this arena is fairly open. However, there are several gravestones that you can run into. Terrain may very well be a factor. And he's just going to let me cast on him over and over again, isn't he? One more should actually stand spring him again. I should be able to finish with Carrion Slicer. So that's probably about as textbook as you can make that fight. 3 casts of Rock Sling will stagger, then you drink, 3 more casts, get another stagger, you finish with Carrion Slicer. So pretty ideal. I guess that's the best example I could have possibly given you for that fight. Again, if he's more aggressive than that, if he decides to leap on you, Queen of Spirit will definitely help because it may target the spirit instead of you. So, other than that, go ahead and set myself back to Magic Glint Blade. And that is everything for Weeping Peninsula. Next up is going to be Castle Stormvale. I'm going to go ahead and park right here at the Site of Grace. Level up just a little bit. Up to 25. And as you can see, we are well over 100,000 extra runes at this point. So doing very, very well on excess rooms. So at this point, you could level up as far as level 40. So 15 levels, if you put those all into intelligence, for example, what do we end up at? Yeah, 38 intelligence. That's pretty good. Anyway, again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. My name has been Cowdog, and I will see you next time in episode 3 with Castle Stormvale. Till then.